Hello everyone, Razorblade Mango here, and today I wanted to come here and talk to you guys about one of my absolute favorite publishers, Ubisoft! Yay! Love them! Love Ubisoft. You all know how much I like these guys, right? Can't do no wrong, high quality games, game of the year contenders, yeah, love them! Great company. Yeah. No, in case you didn't realize, that was lots of sarcasm. That was a whole tablespoon of sarcasm right there for you all. But in all seriousness, let's talk about Ubisoft because they had quite a week last week to my absolute delight. And I wanted to read some shit that came out of Ubisoft from last week. So let's hear from the King Clown himself of the company, Yves Guillemot, and I don't give a shit if I'm mispronouncing that. So Mr. Guillemot, Mr. King Clown, came out with a statement because they had to revise their financials with the tepid reception to Star Wars Outlaws and how it just didn't hit the financial targets they were looking for. And as a consequence, they had to delay the upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows from its November release date to February 14th, 2025. So there you go. You can get your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, a copy of Assassin's Creed Shadows for Valentine's Day. And hopefully that will not lead to a breakup or a divorce. So anyway, let's hear what Mr. King Clown had to say about this.
In today's ultra-competitive market, players expect extraordinary experiences and ultra-polished games on day one.
Yeah, because Ubisoft is known for that.
We need to continue to improve when it comes to fine-tuning our games and delivering outstanding gameplay. This is what will enable Ubisoft to again create the best games in the industry. Consequently, we decided to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows to February 14th, 2025. The game is already playable and of high quality, and has all the features the team wanted to integrate into this ambitious experience. This unusual decision at such an advanced stage is motivated by our desire to offer an optimal experience from launch on all platforms and various PC configurations, and to remove the small frictions we typically use to address in post-launch title updates. We will also use the extra time to complement the experience with a few high-impact secondary quests that will bring even more memorable? Oh, that's clearly a typo, either on a Mr. Clown's part or this article I'm reading, but since it came from Mr. Clown, I guess not only he can't create high-quality video games, motherfucker can't use proper grammar or spell correctly. Additionally, as a result of listening to player feedback on other topics, our new releases, starting with Assassin's Creed Shadows, will again be available on Steam on launch day, in addition to being available on first parties, Epic's and Ubisoft stores. Also, we are currently rethinking our Season Pass model for our upcoming games. For Assassin's Creed Shadows, all players will have access to the game at the same time, and those who have pre-ordered the game will get the first expansion for free.
So one of the more interesting tidbits from this is this, it's like they're crawling back to Steam, because for a long time, they have either released games exclusively on their own PC launcher, or they have gone to Epic. But I think very few Ubisoft games have come to Steam recently, either like on day one or at all. So I find it interesting that Star Wars Outlaws was such a financial disappointment to them that not only did they have to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows, but they have to come crawling back to Steam, which I find that hilarious. And then they're also rethinking their Season Pass model, which that's also interesting as well, because Ubisoft has been starting to embrace the early access, pay extra for early access stuff that some publishers have been doing. So obviously Ubisoft is going to do it because their whole company motto is monkey see, monkey do. And they're actually refunding all the pre-orders and getting rid of the pay in advance or pay for advance access thing. And the people who pre-order the game will get the first expansion for free. That's really interesting. And it makes me wonder how much of a financial disappointment Star Wars Outlaws was. So, I mean, I'm glad it financially disappointed them, because good. This is the only way that you're gonna get these fucking publishers to change, is that you just vote with your wallet. I've been saying this for a long time. If you keep throwing stupid amounts of money to these publishers to encourage them to keep going with these greedy practices, they're going to keep going with it. It's like, why would they stop if they're going to be financially rewarded for it? And thankfully, this is one of the rare times where Ubisoft was not financially rewarded for it, and they are suffering the consequences because of it. And it's about goddamn time when it comes to Ubisoft. So next, I'm going to be reading from their financial report to their investors.
In the light of recent challenges, we acknowledge the need for greater efficiency while delighting players. As a result, beyond the first important short-term actions undertaken, the executive committee, under the supervision of the board of directors, is launching a review aimed at further improving our execution, notably in this player-centric approach, and accelerating our strategic path towards a higher platforming model to the benefit of our stakeholders and shareholders. Finally, let me address some of the polarized comments around Ubisoft lately. I want to reaffirm that we are an entertainment-first company, creating games for the broadest possible audience, and our goal is not to push any specific agenda. We remain committed to creating games for fans and players that everyone can enjoy. So I'll get to that last part later, because I definitely have some thoughts about that, but I find it hilarious that Ubisoft are in such a financial, in corporate disarray right now, that they are being investigated by the executive committee under the supervision of the board of directors. Good. Yeah, this is one of the rare times where the shareholders are starting to get involved, and I'm like, yeah, go for it, dude, because these guys are horribly managed. And Ubisoft deserves every bad thing that happens to them because of their mismanagement. And look, I rightfully make fun of PlayStation and Xbox with how they're both run these days, but they are well-oiled machines compared to Ubisoft. And outside of maybe Embracer Group, Ubisoft is the most mismanaged publisher on the market right now. And I don't buy for a moment, one single iota of a second, that any of their words and changes are acts of goodwill towards their community. No, people believing that, buying into that shit that Ubisoft is trying to sell them, they need to reject that and go, I know exactly what you're doing. This is only happening because they have been financially hit. This is not happening because Mr. Guillemot suddenly woke up one morning and went, oh, maybe I should not, as a Frenchman, be so shit to my customers. No, I don't buy this crap for a second, that it's like this player-centric bullshit. No, sucks. Save it. Save it, Ubisoft. Save that for your shareholders. Save that for your internal memos. Don't try to piss down my back and tell me it's raining with your actions. You're not some king of altruism all of a sudden. It's embarrassing. And then you look at all the shit that's been going on with Ubisoft these last few years with things like Skull and Bones, Prince of Persia Remake, Splinter Cell, Beyond Good and Evil 2, and just the dearth of these franchises that they have just run into the ground, either with their own stupidity, malice, or a mixture of the two.
I'm looking at this list of projects that have been in development hell at Ubisoft at one point or another, and I just, how do you screw up a Prince of Persia remake? How do you do that? It takes a special class of stupid and bad management to mismanage a Prince of Persia remake. How do you do that? That's almost like remarkable. They should be teaching a masterclass on how to screw up video games. I once again have to shine a spotlight on Beyond Good and Evil 2, where all people wanted, all the original fans of Beyond Good and Evil, all they wanted with a sequel was just make a sequel, tie up the cliffhanger at the end with Jade, and just do a linear story-driven game. But what does Ubisoft do? Instead of listening to their fans, they see the live service craze and you go, what is a franchise that is good for live services that we have? Oh, Beyond Good and Evil! Let's make that a live service. Brilliant idea. I got this brilliant idea while I was eating my baguettes and my croissants at my dinner table. Because I am Yves Guillemot. And I am a French clown. What the fuck? How does this happen? And it still hasn't come out. Dude, like E3 was still a thing when this was announced. This was all the way back in like 2017, I believe, that Beyond Good and Evil 2 got announced. And we still haven't seen dick from this game. It's amazing. It really is amazing how horrible Ubisoft is. Also, this whole thing with all players expect high quality games from us. No, Ubisoft, you know what Ubisoft are known for besides their open world templates and live service failures and horrible mismanagement? Bugs. Almost all of their games launch with hilarious bugs or game-breaking glitches, and almost all of them lack that final layer of polish that's needed before they're out the door. I mean, even a game I like, such as this year's Prince of Persia, a game I like, the rare Ubisoft game I bothered to play and that I like, has a fucking bug in it that ruins one of its only major side quests. You know what also Ubisoft is known for? Trend chasing. Ubisoft, I don't care what Ubisoft says. If Ubisoft tells you that they set trends, that they like, we are a leading force in the video game industry, liars. Liars. All they ever do is chase trends. Oh, open world is popular? Make more open world games. Call of Duty is popular? Make X-Defiant. Live services are popular? Greenlight 20 of them. 20 live services for you all. Oh, MOBA? Let's make one of those. Battle Royale, make 5 of those. NFTs are a thing. Make Ubisoft Quartz. Oh, yeah. So, this is all Ubisoft does. They just chase trends. They don't innovate. They don't set the market. They don't set trends. They are just desperate, thirsty, starving to chase any kind of microscopic thing that has even a little bit of popularity to it. I mean, hell, the only reason Assassin's Creed Shadows exists is because they saw the success of things like Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro, and Mr. Guillemot woke up and went, we should do one of those too. Oh, action game set in feudal Japan? Oh, yeah. Assassin's Creed! Finally make one of those! Never mind that their fans have been asking for an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan for fucking ever! And Ubisoft went out of their way to go to every period of time imaginable except feudal Japan. I'm surprised they didn't go back to the fucking caveman era before they went to fucking Japan in Assassin's Creed. I mean, they did that with Far Cry, but I'm surprised they didn't do it with Assassin's Creed. We were fucking running around in a loincloth with a spear, throwing shit at mammoths or whatever, doing a leap of faith off a fucking mammoth's tusk or whatever. Never mind that people want Japan. Probably since Assassin's Creed 1. They looked at Assassin's Creed 1 and went, that would be cool samurais. Yeah, cut to 15 years later, and where the franchise is just not exactly the height of popularity and goodwill that it once was. Now we're finally getting it. Okay. You know, it's not like you guys finally want to do something original. You just saw what somebody else did and went, Ghost of Tsushima, we can do that too. We have a series called Assassin's Creed that we can do that with. Except Ghost of Tsushima embarrassed Ubisoft, one-upped them 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago by the time Assassin's Creed Shadows comes out. The last thing I want to say, and this is in response to that little bit at the end of Ubisoft's, I would say disingenuous paragraph at the end of their shit to their shareholders and stuff about how we are nuts. We just want to make the broadest possible games for everybody. We don't push specific agendas. You know, we don't do any of that. Ubisoft, we're a company for the people, the common folk. So, let's talk about the word woke. I hate this word. Everybody who follows my channel knows how much I hate this word. It has been overused to death by idiots who need to get laid and outrage grifters. It is a word that has a time and a place, and when used sparingly, it actually means something. So, for my audience, for you all out there, who very rarely hear me use this word in an unironic way, I am here today to tell you that I think Ubisoft is woke as fuck. And there's a big reason for that. Because Ubisoft, they talk a good line about how we respect people of multiple cultures and different creeds and races and sexes and genders and religions. Oh, look at us, we're Ubisoft. We're so progressive. Look at us. Oh, look at us, everybody. Please give us applause for how progressive we are. Just brag about it nonstop over the years. But then they turn around and protect alleged sex pests within their organization, and treat their employees like hot garbage, and disrespect other cultures when they feel that they can get away with it because we're Ubisoft, we make lots of money, whatever, we don't care. Look, I hate Take-Two, for instance, but I can almost respect how openly greedy and vindictive they are at times. They're horrible, but at least they're honest. They're pretty open about how horrible they are. They don't try to hide behind this veneer of like positivity and community. But I can't say the same for Ubisoft because they're always hiding behind this very thin veneer of community and progressivism and positivity and all that. But they are just as greedy and stupid as the rest of them. And particularly that bit with them protecting alleged sex pests within their organization. That to me it's disgusting. And they're so phony that I can't stand it. And that is why Ubisoft is one of the rare instances where I think using the word woke is entirely justified. Because that's what they are. They're fake. They are fake, phony progressives. They don't care about progressivism. What are you, stupid? You know what? The only thing Ubisoft cares about? Making money. You know the only thing? Yves Guillemot, he don't give a fuck about black people or trans people or Japanese people or any other kind of people. You know the only thing that Yves Guillemot gives a fuck about? The only thing Yves Guillemot gives a fuck about is having enough money in his bank account to wake up and be pampered with servants and drive a fucking Ferrari and eat fucking premium croissants or whatever the hell, or snails or whatever the fuck French people eat. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about progressing causes or anything like that. He cares about protecting his alleged sex pest buddies within the organization. and not having complaints come to his doorstep from his employees. So that's all Mr. King Clown cares about. That's all Ubisoft in general cares about. It's just making money and not getting into trouble. They don't give a flying fuck about your progressive issues. And anyone who believes that, they're lying to you. I'm sorry, to those people out there who think Ubisoft is this like outwardly progressive company, they're lying to you. They're doing a great job if you believe that, pig swell. But I don't. I can see right through their bullshit. And they're so disgusting. They're so phony. They're woke. Do y'all remember when they were on the verge of being hostily taken over by Vivendi? And how they kind of, rallied the troops or tried to weaponize the community against Vivendi, and they're going, oh, we need to be a free Ubisoft. Considering Tencent owns a good share within the company, if Tencent were to come in and take over Ubisoft, I don't think I would really care at this point. Ubisoft deserves every bad thing that happens to them. And if the Guillemot brothers, the Guillemot family being pushed out in favor of Tencent, I couldn't give less of a shit at this point. And they deserve it. Because they're awful.